Hey guys, Script here with another video for you. I have some issues with the Inquisitors, the whole idea of the Inquisitors. But I did find this very recent article today, actually a couple hours ago, on Screen Rant. Darth Vader's Inquisitors have become Disney's most important addition to Star Wars canon, and they're only going to get bigger. My whole thing is, why? Why would they need to get bigger? Why are we doing all these stories about these sort of quasi-Sith Lords? I mean, they're Darksiders. They're trained and brought up in Sith ideology, right? If they're under Palpatine and under Vader. But then Filoni, they're not quite Sith. Disney's kind of been playing that game. Kylo Ren wasn't a Sith, apparently, even though his master's master was a Sith. And he's trained in the dark arts, but we're just going to not give him the title, even though he's doing and acting and behaving, and his ideology is completely Sith, right? So one of the biggest changes Disney has made to Star Wars was introducing Darth Vader's Inquisitors in Star Wars Rebels. Yes, I'm going to get into what was the previous lore before they decided to do this Inquisitor stuff. But these lightsaber-wielding Jedi Hunters have slowly become one of the most brilliant additions to canon. The most brilliant additions to canon. This is like the Dave Filoni apologist website, Screen Rant. And again, I want to go back to the beginning just really quickly. Dave Filoni was a storyboard artist for the Clone Wars. And then George, at some point, wasn't going to use a storyboard artist for one of the seasons or something like that. Some Clone Wars thing. But he liked Dave. He thought he was a nice guy. So he put him in with the writers and gave him a job. That's how Dave Filoni is where he is. He's a storyboard artist, okay, who George Lucas liked. So he had no background in anything else other than just, hey man, this is someone's story. Take their story and write storyboards, right? For the visual representation for when you're shooting these scenes. So the fact that he's running Star Wars for the last however long with all these ideas is crazy to me. And he's totally changed it. And again, we'll go back and we'll look at the original lore of these, but they're not brilliant additions. Really, helicopter lightsabers are brilliant. When they were initially revealed, some thought the Inquisitor's existence broke Darth Bane's rule of two for the Sith, seeing as Palpatine and Vader should be the only lightsaber wielders active during the original trilogy, but Dave Filoni definitely established that the Inquisitors were on a short leash. They did not have free reign to do as they pleased in the Empire. What does that have to do with them being Sith or not? What? What is going on? Neither did Vader. Vader was doing what Palpatine wanted him to do. You even see Palpatine ordering Vader what to do in the movies. What are you talking about? Nobody had free reign. The Inquisitors were selected Force-sensitive individuals trained by the Empire to hunt, capture, and kill the remaining Jedi scattered throughout the galaxy. Well, how were they trained? They were trained in the Sith arts, because they were trained by Darth Vader. They're not Sith, though, and, it's got nothing to do with the Rule of Two. Not that I really care about the Rule of Two, to be honest with you, but, no. You may just say you don't care about the Rule of Two, Dave. Don't make it up something. Well, they had no authority. They couldn't just have free reign. Nobody could. What are you talking about? They were often cowardly former Jedi who survived Order 66. Yes, and I looked into that, and they almost all are. They're almost all, essentially the Inquisitors were former Jedi or Padawans who survived Order 66, but then turned to the dark side by the Sith. Later, the Inquisitors were a major threat on the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi. Here's my problem with this whole idea. So all these Jedi are just, instead of going into hiding, they're just joining Vader? So they just throw out their ideology? And then they try to do the Padawan angle with Reva. So think about this. So Reva watches Jedi get killed by Anakin and somehow survives getting stabbed with a lightsaber from Anakin as a kid. Oh, and by the way, she survives it again by Vader. It's just so ridiculous. But anyways, so she witnesses Anakin killing all of the Jedi or whatever. Somehow knows that Vader is Anakin, even though she doesn't witness him as the robotic guy. She witnesses him as just Anakin. And her response to this, as what appeared to be maybe an 8 or 10-year-old girl, is to join Vader and go around killing other Jedi so that she could get close to him and kill him. So her answer, so this is somebody who grew up in the Jedi ways, right? Jedi monks. Her answer to stop Vader from killing Jedi, or to get revenge for him killing the Jedis and Padawans, is to go and join him and kill a whole bunch of Jedi. Like, that's Dave Filoni's writing, guys. This is a storyboard artist. This is a storyboard artist. This is not a writer. Okay? This is not a writer. But anyways, the other side of this part that's really stupid too is, why would all these Jedi just join the dark side like that? Like what? Like, I don't get it. So there's an emperor. He's evil. He manipulated all the clones into killing a whole pile of your friends. And instead of just going into hiding, go living a normal life, this is a really big galaxy. There's lots of places you could go. No, I'm going to join Vader. I don't get that. That makes absolutely no sense. That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And again, this is a storyboard artist coming up with these ideas. That Jedi just throw it all away and become Inquisitors. Like, it's insanity. And the other insane part about it is Order 66 in the original lore was ongoing. In other words, Palpatine wasn't saying, oh, let's recruit former Jedi Padawans and we'll make them into our little Sith minion guys. He basically said Order 66 until they're all dead. Like, why would you take the risk that you recruit a Jedi and then in a moment's notice they find a way to kill Anakin or something like that? Like, why would you take the gamble? The whole point was that he was routing the galaxy of the Jedi, period. He wasn't like, let's recruit some Jedis. No. None of this makes any sense, and it was just a way for Dave to find a villain for his Rebel show that had red lightsabers, because that's basically all they can do is think about lightsabers, and then they made them helicopters. Like, anyway, so the whole thing to me is just silly and dumb. And again, the original lore is so much better. Cowardly former Jedi. Oh, I love the cowardly Jedi. It's all about the Jedi were garbage and cowardly. And actually, this actually adds to that. You're a coward if you join the Sith. That's what you are. So, way to go! Just makes the Jedi look even worse. Again, everything they do makes the Jedi look bad. Why would we want the Jedi to be heroes? They chose to serve the Empire rather than be killed by it. This meant many Inquisitors hunted old allies and friends, further fueling their descent towards the dark side. Each of them was issued a spinnable, double-bladed lightsaber to aid them in their quest to deal with rogue Jedi, though they were never allowed to gain enough power to oppose the Empire. I mean, but they could have, right? And that's another thing that's stupid about the Inquisitors. They could have all gotten together in a room without Vader and been like, well, there's like 15 of us, so why don't we just all just jump him and kill him? You think about, Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4 or the first one, and he lets Vader kill him. Like, that's the Jedi way. They don't join in. Like, if they're going to die, they're just going to die. They just accept it. That's what Jedi are supposed to do. Luke was willing to do that as well. Anakin wasn't willing to do that, was part of the problem, or not willing to let someone he cared about perish. That was the problem. It's like Yoda says, spiritual beings are we not this crude matter. So it's almost like they just throw that out the window so Dave can have a villain with a spinning red lightsaber. They throw all their ideology out the window. Oh man, these are cringe. I hate those lightsabers. Dave Filoni introduced the idea of the Inquisitors in the first episode of Star Wars Rebels, showcasing Jason Isaacs' Grand Inquisitor, reporting directly to Darth Vader himself in Star Wars Insider number 153. Filoni explains that it didn't make sense to have Vader chasing this small-scale band of rebel rousers in Rebels. Vader had bigger fish to fry than chase rogue Jedi around the galaxy for the whole series, which is why Filoni added the Inquisitors instead. Their existence serves to foil characters like Kanan Jarrus, who continues to hold on to the fallen Jedi Order, which again diminishes Episode 3. It diminishes what George wrote. This guy doesn't give a crap about what George wrote, because it was important enough for Palpatine to manipulate the whole entire process to get to that climax of Order 66 It was important enough. It was important enough for him to send Anakin's first mission was to go to the Jedi Temple and kill a bunch of Jedi and Padawans. Like, it's important enough that he wants all the Jedi dead. He doesn't want a single one alive. But Vader doesn't need to be involved in that? Really? Why? What's Vader doing? Palpatine's got a million, officers and admirals and guys that can run his military and all this stuff. So what else would Vader be doing? In fact, in the movies, that's Vader's whole thing are these missions that are like singular and important in nature. They're not broad military crap. Like, you know what I mean? He's focused on getting the plans, right? Because he knows the rebels have the plans. He's focused on getting Luke Skywalker because Luke Skywalker's a Jedi, right? And they can't have Jedi running around. He's interested in dealing with Obi-Wan when he finally realizes Obi-Wan's still alive. That's his mission. His mission is these individuals and these very specific things, not sort of running the Empire. Like, Dave Filoni doesn't know anything about Star Wars, I don't think. It's crazy to me. Again, I think he just did it for convenience because he wanted a red lightsaber villain. The Inquisitors represent a shift from George Lucas's original version of how many Jedi survive Order 66. Instead of Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Yoda being among the last Jedi to remain, Disney's canon is filled with dozens of notable Jedi who have managed to evade capture by the Empire. So, while it was feasible for Vader and Legends to personally hunt down and execute the few remaining Jedi, it makes more sense for the Inquisitors to take some of the smaller assignments on his behalf. They exist to tackle the Jedi beneath his notice. And that's exactly it. The Purge is a comic that came out in 2013, so just before the purchase of Lucasfilm from Disney. And in that comic book, it's Darth Vader going around and finding and killing the last remaining Jedi. And a lot of it centers around him looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he finds Jedi and he tries to get information out of them where he is, and then he ends up killing them. But it's not just him by himself. He brings clone troopers with him. There's no Inquisitors. He's going around and he's dealing with the remaining, 50 or whatever Jedi that are still hanging around. And he doesn't need Inquisitors to help him. And again, what else would he be doing? Again, Palpatine has infrastructure. He doesn't need Vader running the military. And the Jedi he approaches have no interest in joining him in the Purge comic book. They have no interest in joining him. They are like, this is evil, this guy's bad. They fight him and he just defeats them. And the whole point of this too is it's meant to show Vader's power. All it really does is just makes him even more threatening because he can kill all of these Jedi. None of them can hold a candle to him. So that makes him more scary when you lead into the original trilogy stories, right? So everything Filoni's doing is just diminishing everything. Diminishing Palpatine's plans, diminishing Order 66, diminishing Vader's prowess and his force powers. It's ridiculous. Like, look at what happens with Reva and Kenobi. Vader kills her and walks away and she's not even dead. She survives and he doesn't know that. He doesn't sense that she's alive. Like, everything they do is ruining the lore of the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and everything that came before the purchase in 2014. The way the original trilogy is presented, the audience only ever gets to see lightsaber combat on the rare occasion Vader pulls out a blade to fight Luke or another rogue Jedi. But by introducing the Inquisitors, Filoni gives the audience even more lightsaber battles than before, which is exactly what I said earlier. That's the point. It's all about the lightsabers. Why would you want lightsabers to be like rare and cool? Of course we want them to be just everywhere all the time. That's so much better to just water it down and have them there always instead of on rare occasions. Because watering things down is what makes it better. Just like having a bazillion shows instead of just having like the odd movie. Because you just want it watered down. It's better than having hype and excitement. They're so dumb. Additionally, the Inquisitors add an element of surprise to Star Wars that Darth Vader cannot. Vader will always survive every duel he's in due to his importance as the Chosen One, whereas the Inquisitors are expendable. Many of them can die for the sake of the Empire. Yeah, but do I care if any of them die? No, don't care at all. Not even one bit. It means nothing. But it does mean something if Vader kills a Jedi. Right? If Vader goes and routs out a Jedi that you recognize or you've read comic books about, and the Jedi has to fight him. It's not about whether or not Vader lives. You're thinking, oh my gosh, is this Jedi somehow going to get away? That's the story. But of course, these people that shill for Disney and Dave don't get that. You can still have a pretty cool story. It just would be from the other perspective. Considering how many Order 66 survivors Disney keeps introducing in canon, yeah, which is stupid. The Inquisitors are even more necessary to Star Wars now. Perhaps Filoni had the foresight to anticipate just how many stories Disney would tell about rogue Jedi. Well, he's the one who's orchestrating this. Like, what are you talking about? Struggling to survive in the Imperial era Jedi, that is, which is why the Inquisitors have only become more relevant to canon as time goes by. And since the exact number of Inquisitors is still unknown, of course, because they want to have the loosey-goosey where they can add and whatever, do what they want. Disney has a somewhat infinite group of enemies to draw upon if their stories need an antagonist. And there it is. There it is. It's an infinite group of enemies to draw upon, so you can be a lazy bum writer, and you have I need a villain, what do I do? Oh yeah, the Inquisitors, right? That's why Dave made them, despite the fact that they ruin a lot of things that came before them, as I already discussed. But I said at the beginning of the video, this is why he invented them, because he can just be lazy and just create content, and it's just all about content, just keep pumping it out. That's what Disney's doing. Oh, well, I can't think of a villain for Ahsoka. Let's make an Inquisitor. Oh yeah, and then when she kills him, make the Inquisitor turn into green dust. And we never even knew who he was. Or why he was green dust. It's just, guys, the Inquisitors suck. They're so stupid. While the Inquisitors first appeared in Star Wars animation, they've shown up in the live action. We know that. It's very depressing. The Kenobi series saw whatever. We know. They're in games. Yeah, they're in Jedi Survivor. Not only have Inquisitors permeated almost every medium of the franchise, because they can't think of any other villains to write. Because they're not writers, they're storyboard artists. But they're also iconic within the Star Wars universe itself. Few of the Empire's everyday citizens saw Vader in real life, and the unfortunate ones who did, such as the child on Mapuzo and Obi-Wan Kenobi, didn't live long to tell the tale. On the other hand, the Inquisitors represented a mere fraction of Vader's brutality. Yeah, that's what we want to see. We want to see a fraction of the brutality. We want to see watered down fractions. Yay! Like, they're telling you it sucks. While they occasionally torture or slaughter innocents who get in their way, they did not have license to terrorize the galaxy in the same way Vader did. Either way, you're just watching watered down fake Sith running around doing stuff. Star Wars' next upcoming TV show is set to delve even further into the Inquisitorious program by showing the audience exactly how Inquisitors are recruited and trained by the Empire. I'm not watching that garbage. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I don't care. So that's basically what it comes down to, guys. Here. The Acolyte may also help to establish and clarify the Inquisitor's relationship with the Sith. There won't be any Inquisitors present in the Acolyte given where it is in the Star Wars timeline. But the Inquisitors themselves are vaguely similar to Sith Acolytes from Legends. In other words, even before the prequels, they can't think of new enemies. They have to do basically Inquisitors old, right? And everything's Vader light, watered down versions of Sith. Isn't it? Don't you love the creativity? We need more lightsabers. We need more red lightsabers. Make a bunch of guys. And make like a bazillion Jedi for them to constantly have to go after forever instead of what the original The Purge, where Vader deals with all of them and they're all dead and all that's left is Luke. And Obi-Wan, no! I want red lightsabers everywhere. So make sure there's millions of Jedi still alive. Even when they get stabbed, they're still alive. And then wait, we're doing a show before the prequels start. What do? Make something just like the Inquisitors, but call them Acolytes. Call them something else. The fans are too dumb. They won't know they're the same thing. They train alongside a Sith Lord and are often fed false hopes of rising through the ranks. While the Acolytes' plot deals are still shrouded in mystery, it's likely the series will explain Darth Vader's Sith title and why he's the Lord of the Sith, when it's really just him and Palpatine. In any case, Disney will continue to utilize Filoni's original concept for the Inquisitors and Rebels. They're versatile. They can act as minor villains or tragic anti-heroes. Nonetheless, the Inquisitorious exists to serve a purpose. More Disney Star Wars content. Once their usefulness has run its course, they will be discarded by the Empire they so faithfully served. Many Jedi who are caught by the Empire are forced to face the grim choice of being executed quickly or dying in the service of the Empire. Why would... So, like, why would any of them do that? Because they know ultimately they're going to die anyway. So they're going to die as bad guys killing their friends? Which, again, I go back to the Vader comic, The Purge. The Jedi don't do that. They fight them and lose, right? Because that's what Jedi do. They don't give in and then just get discarded by the Empire. Like, the whole idea of them is so stupid. And again, all it does is diminish the Jedi and make them look worse, which is Filoni's whole thing, right? Muddying the waters, graying the lines. There's no middle ground for these tragic Star Wars characters since no Inquisitors will end up leaving the program alive. Okay, so basically it's just an easy, thoughtless villain trope that they can just trot out there whenever they want. It's just stupid and lazy, and that's basically what they do. They write these filler generic episodes. They'll write 6 hours of content that could have been whittled down to like 45 minutes to get the points across. But then they have all these filler episodes with Inquisitors and bull crap and stuff that doesn't matter. All that to say, guys, I think Inquisitors are really stupid. And I think they're based on laziness and dumbness, and they take away from the original trilogy, they take away from the prequel trilogy, they take away from Palpatine, they take away from Vader, because we could have had just Vader doing all this stuff. And you could have had a whole show about Vader. Imagine if you did The Purge in a show instead of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Instead of having Vader facing Kenobi 15 times, which he was never supposed to do, George himself said that, because that makes no sense. They could have literally done Star Wars The Purge based on the comics before Disney purchased the IP. They could still use that. They could still use that as the basis. And done a show about Vader hunting down Jedi. Let me know in the comment section. Would you have rather have seen that than Rebels or the Ahsoka show or the Kenobi show? Would you have rather have seen like a 15 episode show of Vader hunting Jedi with clone troopers? Would you have rather have seen that? I would have. That's a lot better than this nonsense. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you think they're stupid? Do you like them? If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. And have yourselves a really good day.